I have some incredible news for all Dogecoin holders today. This is something that has never happened in the history of Doge, so let's talk about it. But before we look at it, let's talk a bit about the crypto market. So Dogecoin and the entire crypto market are trading sideways right now. The market cap of the crypto industry currently stands at $1.86 trillion. Another thing I want to talk about is the Fear and Greed Index. It stands at 24, which is the lowest it's been in weeks. Now, I know that a lot of people are worried, but there's some incredible news that came out today that makes me really excited about where Dogecoin and the entire market are heading from here. So Dogecoin core developer Michai Lumen recently tweeted about the first radio Doge transaction, which was done using Lib Dogecoin. Now, this was ultimately relayed to the Dogecoin mainnet via Starlink. And this is why it's such a big deal. If you don't know, Radio Doge focuses on using low-cost radio technology combined with the global Starlink satellite network to provide cheap, wide-scale access to Dogecoin for people who live outside the reach of regular internet infrastructure. In short, this technology will allow Dogecoin to be able to perform transactions without the use of the internet. In the past weeks, the Dogecoin team has focused on providing the groundwork for Radio Doge as well as many future projects using the first phase of Lib Dogecoin, which is a building block for creating Dogecoin projects. And so I'm incredibly happy about how the Dogecoin development team is working towards its advancement every single day. Dogecoin's objective, according to the Dogecoin Foundation, is to make Doge the de facto worldwide currency for exchanging goods and services. It says it is currently working on some projects aimed at bringing the Dogecoin ecosystem to a state of readiness for rapid grassroots adoption, citing the fact that 1.7 billion people in the world are unbanked. Now, let's move on to some more incredible news for the crypto market. Stripe Inc., which is an online payments company, is once again entering the crypto arena via its integration with Twitter to offer creators payments in crypto. The new integration will be the first in a new rollout that will enable creators to receive payments in USD coin. This is again pretty big news because Stripe will be entering the crypto market after a fairly long time. And being a major player, I'm quite excited about how it'll affect crypto's prices in the short term. So Twitter will use Stripe's Connect platform to enable compensation of creators in various ways, including Twitter tips, super follows, and ticketed spaces. Basically, Twitter is offloading all the crypto-related mechanics in the payment process to Stripe. Talking about adoption, here's another research we need to talk about. So Morgan Stanley recently noted that partnerships with brick-and-mortar stores will be critical to the future of Bitcoin. This is because more than 85% of purchases in the US are made at stores rather than online. Up until now, crypto has not been widely accepted at retail stores because of high fees, unstable prices, and hesitancy on the part of merchants. But now, this is changing. In the report, the bank talked about how Bitcoin's Lightning Network is changing the dynamics now. So for transactions made using Bitcoin's Lightning Network, which charges lower fees than other types of transactions, you can essentially pay zero fees for small purchases, which could lead to Bitcoin becoming more commonly used as a payments method. And another company that's changing the game for crypto's acceptance is BitPay. According to a tweet from BitPay, Porsche Tosin, a Porsche dealer in Maryland, is now accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as payment. And then there's the German multinational chain of electronic stores, MediaMarkt, which will reportedly install Bitcoin ATM in 12 branches across Austria. To buy BTC, local clients will use current vending machines. And this news is going to be really fruitful for crypto's adoption because MediaMarkt is the largest electronics retailer in Europe. Founded in 1979, it has over 1,000 stores and is an attractive shopping venue for millions of customers in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy. Basically, it already has a lot of customers who love to buy Bitcoin from their local ATM. Now, let's talk about that one thing that has the power to turn the market upside down. I'm talking about Bitcoin ETF acceptance in the USA. So, Grayscale has made a fresh push for SEC approval to turn into a Bitcoin ETF. Grayscale is betting that the SEC acceptance earlier this month of the Ethereum futures crypto might help them strengthen their case for the first ETF approval. Craig Salm, Grayscale's chief authorized officer, also basically said that after the Ethereum approval, the SEC is running out of excuses to reject ETFs linked to Bitcoin. Now, coming back to adoption, take a look at this. According to a forecast by research firm Insider Intelligence, nearly 34 million Americans will own crypto by the end of the year. That equates to around 10% of the population, though the company reported a higher figure of 12.8%, possibly taking the adult population figures into account rather than the total. The researchers predicted that the number of U.S. adults who own and use crypto for payments will double digits by 2023. It added that 3.6 million Americans would use digital assets as a payment method at some time this year. It also said that crypto payments will surpass $10 billion in total transaction value globally for the first time in 2022. Basically, this is an increase of more than 70% from 2021. And this is because in 2021, cryptos became easier to purchase within apps consumers were already using and while major financial institutions embraced crypto investments. And another report by BOC found that awareness and ownership of Bitcoin have increased a lot since 2016. The results also found that for some industries, crypto would operate alongside traditional banking as a payment mechanism. Now, before we talk more about crypto adoption, let's look at what Mark Cuban has to say about the current state of Dogecoin and other cryptos. He said that the Bitcoin maxis are the people who think that Bitcoin's just going to own the world and change the world to be the ultimate currency. It's not. Bitcoin really is a great store of value because it's easier to trade than gold, easier to break up into smaller pieces than gold to share with people. It's easier to store. You can just take the digital file and put it on a card. Store of value is one thing that applies primarily to Bitcoin. He then talked about where the real value lies according to him. He said that there are two types of tokens. Tokens that have a utility and tokens that they call shitcoins are just there to be traded. They're just speculation opportunities, just like OTC stocks. When most people think of stocks, they think of the Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange. But there are these things called pink sheets and bulletin boards and OTC stocks where there are thousands of companies with no audited financials, where stocks trade for pennies and who knows what price, and trillions of shares trade with nothing. They are the stock equivalent of some crypto tokens. He then talked about why altcoins with utility are his main area of interest as a crypto investor, saying that ETH is probably his favorite one. He also said, finally, there's the tokens that have a utility like Ethereum. They have these things called smart contracts and they allow you to trade different things, whether it's NFTs, insurance contracts on Ethereum, there's just a variety of things. That's where I think the true upside is. That's why I own a ton of Ethereum and Polygon, because smart contracts like HTML or JavaScript for the internet. You can create applications. NFTs are one version of the applications, and we're starting to see others, like textbooks turned into NFTs, music, songs, and movies turned into NFTs. Anything digital can use a smart contract to become an NFT. That's where the real upside is. So there you have it. Mark Cuban is openly supporting ETH and Matic. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Now coming back to adoption, the Bahamas have set out a digital asset strategy in their white paper that will allow residents of the Bahamas to pay their tax in cryptos. And another big news for cryptos was that Reconin, which is the world's first regulated crypto bank, is saying that it'll see a huge amount of money come in from institutional investors. One of its executives said that the institutional money and also the professional investors have woken up to the reality that market values have skyrocketed in DeFi, in NFTs, in cryptocurrencies. The data is beginning to show that this is happening. This is absolutely happening. And if you look at the size of the institutional money bucket, we are just at the beginning. I think we're at the beginning of an entire industry. Now talking about institutions, SkyBridge Capita has started a new investment vehicle to invest in Bitcoin mining. Basically, it has created the fund for selected limited partners to co-invest in privately held, industrial-scale Bitcoin miner Genesis digital assets. This is pretty big too because more investment into crypto mining will inevitably lead to a higher hash rate, which will then most likely lead to a higher price for Bitcoin. And another big news came from Bahrain. So Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa recently met with Binance CEO to discuss crypto adoption further. And now, Binance has been granted the license required to operate within Bahrain by the central bank of the country. Binance shall now be eligible to provide services such as crypto trading, portfolio management, and custody to the people of Bahrain. And this is incredible because we'll see a lot of money come into cryptos from Bahrain. Now let's come back to Dogecoin. It's currently trading at 13.5 cents, and as you can see, more than 55% of its investors are still in profit. Because of the big news for Dogecoin from today, I'm excited about where we're going from here. Do you think we're going to 20 cents anytime soon? Let me know in the comment section below.